I have a child. The waiter had just refilled our wine glasses when Sarah leaned forward, her eyes catching the candlelight, and said those 4 words that stopped my heart. I have a child. My hand froze halfway to my water glass. Not because I was shocked or disappointed, but because of the fear flickering across her face, the same fear I'd worn like armor for the past 3 years. The same vulnerability that made my voice shake every time I had to tell someone new about Emma. So do I whispered. Let me back up. 6 months after my wife died, my sister practically dragged me to a singles mixer at the community center. I went in gym shorts and an old college t-shirt, fully prepared to grab some free appetizers and leave. Instead, I met Sarah, a woman with an infectious laugh who made terrible puns about the room's questionable cheese platter and didn't seem to mind when I talked too much about my 5-year-old daughter. We exchanged numbers. We texted for weeks, safe, surface-level conversations about favorite movies and childhood pets. Nothing too deep, nothing too real. When she finally asked me out to dinner, I almost said no. Dating as a single dad felt like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in the dark. How do you explain to someone that you come as a package deal? That your daughter's bedtime routine is sacred? That you still sometimes find your late wife's hairpins in the couch cushions and cry? But something about Sarah made me want to try. The restaurant she chose was perfect, dimly lit, quiet enough for conversation, expensive enough to feel special but not so fancy that I felt like an imposter. She arrived 10 minutes late, breathless and apologetic, her hair slightly messy from the wind. She was beautiful in a real way, not magazine perfect but genuinely radiant. We talked about everything. Her job as a graphic designer. My work as a high school history teacher. Her obsession with true crime podcasts. My inability to keep houseplants alive. The conversation flowed like we'd known each other for years, not weeks. I found myself laughing, really laughing, for the first time in what felt like forever. Somewhere between the appetizers and the main course, I realized I was falling. Not the desperate, drowning kind of falling I'd feared, but something lighter. Hopeful. It terrified me. Then came dessert. We were sharing a piece of chocolate cake, and I was mid-story about Emma's recent obsession with becoming a paleontologist, when Sarah's smile faltered. She set down her fork and took a deep breath. I have a child. The words hung between us like a confession. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for her wine glass. A son. He's 7. Lucas. She wouldn't meet my eyes. I should have told you sooner, but every time I mention him on a first date, guys either run for the hills or suddenly remember they left their stove on. I wanted one evening where someone saw me first. Not just as someone's mom. My throat tightened. I knew that feeling. God, did I know that feeling? So do I said again, louder this time. Have a child. A daughter. Emma. She's 5. Sarah's head snapped up. What? I've been a single dad for 3 years. Car accident. My wife. I couldn't finish the sentence. I never could. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. How could you? I reached across the table and took her hand. I didn't tell you either. Same reason. I just wanted to be Mike tonight. Not Mike the widower, or Mike who needs a sitter for every date. Just Mike. We sat there in silence, hands clasped, both of us crying and laughing at the absurdity of it all. 2 single parents, both terrified of the same thing, both hiding the most important parts of ourselves. I have a confession, Sarah said, wiping her eyes. Lucas is in the car. What? With my mom. In the parking lot. He had a nightmare last night and didn't want me to leave, so I told him we'd go to dinner together and he could wait with Grandma. I was planning to keep this short and get back to him. She laughed, a broken, beautiful sound. Some first date, huh? I pulled out my phone. Emma's with my sister. They're having a Disney marathon at my place. Let me text her. My fingers flew across the screen. Think your mom would mind if we brought the kids inside? This place has great milkshakes. Sarah stared at me like I'd just suggested we fly to the moon. You're serious? Completely. If we're doing this, whatever this is, they're part of it. Might as well find out now if Emma thinks your jokes are as bad as I do. 20 minutes later, our quiet romantic dinner had transformed into cheerful chaos. Emma, still in her princess pajamas under her coat, was shyly sharing her chicken nuggets with Lucas, who was explaining the intricate rules of his favorite card game. Sarah's mom had politely declined to join us but gave me a look that felt like a blessing and a warning rolled into one. Emma likes dinosaurs too, Lucas announced, chocolate milkshake mustache firmly in place. That's cool. Lucas knows all the states and capitals, Emma countered. Even the hard ones. I caught Sarah's eye across the table. She was watching our kids with an expression I recognized, that fierce, protective love mixed with cautious hope. She looked at me and mouthed, "Is this crazy?" "Probably," I mouthed back. But I couldn't stop smiling. The kids fell asleep on the drive home, Emma in my backseat and Lucas in Sarah's car following behind us. We all ended up at my place, transferring sleeping children to my couch while my sister quietly gathered her things and left with the world's biggest grin. Sarah and I sat in my kitchen, drinking terrible instant coffee at midnight, talking in whispers about custody arrangements and therapy appointments and the guilt that came with trying to be happy again. About the loneliness of single parenthood. About the fear that we'd never be whole again. "I don't know what this is," Sarah said finally, gesturing between us. "But I haven't felt this hopeful in years." "Me neither," I admitted. "It's terrifying. Completely terrifying," she agreed. We started dating properly after that. Messy, complicated, beautiful dating that involved coordinating school pickups and finding babysitters and sometimes just having dates at the park while our kids played. It wasn't the romance movies promised. It was better. Real. 6 months later, on a Sunday morning with both kids making pancakes in my kitchen while we supervised, Emma looked up at me with syrup on her chin. "Daddy, is Sarah going to be my new mommy?" My heart stopped. Sarah's face went pale. But before either of us could speak, Lucas piped up, "She's just Sarah, dummy. Like how Mike is just Mike. They're just people we love." Out of the mouths of babes. Sarah and I locked eyes across the kitchen, and I saw my own hope reflected there. This wasn't about replacing what we'd lost or fixing what was broken. It was about building something new, messy and imperfect and utterly extraordinary. "Yeah," I said, pulling both kids into a hug and reaching for Sarah's hand. "Just people we love." And somehow, that was everything.